What is going on out there, peeps? You guys heard any good news lately? All right, you guys, let's go over a couple things, but I need you guys to slow down just a little. Slow down, man. I know yesterday's news was pretty exciting, but we're going to talk about why we need to just take a deep breath and slow down, okay, before we get into that stuff. Anyways, look, right now I did a video last night on Basel 3 and the fact that the BIS has reclassified gold as a tier 1 asset, which is big news, okay? It is big news. But what's that tell me as a person who is investing in the precious metals? It tells me that they are anticipating gold to be a positive asset. In other words, continue to grow in value for a long time. All right, you have to watch the video to understand what I'm talking about. All right, so they're thinking long-term gold. It's not a risk. It's as a matter of fact, they moved it to a tier 1, which means it has no risk. Okay, and if you're thinking about buying precious metals, please give our friends over there at Money Metals Exchange. The link is in the description. If you buy more than $100 worth of precious metals, use promo code Pimpy, Pimpy, and get a free half ounce of silver. We have Pimpy's investment chat. We talk about investment opportunities over here, including gold, silver, cryptocurrencies you guys should be buying right now. Buy on a dip. Cryptocurrencies took a pretty good hit. There was a readjustment in the market. And so right now they're starting to climb back up. So you'd be buying them on the low end and then watch them increase in value. If you are interested in buying cryptocurrencies, please follow the link in my description. And it'll take you to where you could buy some cryptocurrencies. You get $10 free just for following the link. No politics here, though. Bring it over here to hidden things in front of your eyes. Over here, you can talk about politics. I don't have a problem with that. You can talk about QAnon, current events, 9/11, false flag events, chemtrails, the whole 9 yards. You can talk about it in this group. Just be respectful of one another. I have a Twitter account. The link is in the description. Come on over and check me out. Look, here's that video I was telling you about. For those of you who are interested in precious metals, I did post it on YouTube, so go check it out because it's really, really super important. All right, you guys, a lot of you are asking me about this particular company that I had made. A lot of you ask me all the time, where's a good place to buy Iraqi Dinar, or where's a good place to buy Vietnam Dong? And I said, look, I only ever bought from one place, which was Exchange of America. But, everybody else seems to be back, and somebody had recommended this company. I told you guys the story. I gave them a try. I got my order. I was happy with that. I was like, good. It takes a little while to come in the mail, not too long. But, I was like, okay, good. I just wanted to make sure that, that they were legit. Well, that doesn't prove that they're legit, but you know what I mean? Like, I got my order. So anyways, people keep asking me, and I'm not affiliated with the company. I'm just letting you know I have found a place that does have the Iraqi dinar, surprisingly, and that was this company. They are overseas, which made me just a little bit nervous, but I was happy to have gotten my package. All right, you guys. So nonetheless, the link is in the description because a lot of you are asking me, and I usually just don't have nowhere to refer you. And so, again, this company was recommended to me, and they're pretty good. So give them a try. Let me know how everything works out for you. Okay, so again, I know a lot of you guys are saying, oh, we heard this rumor and that rumor, why the 2020 budget has not yet been passed. Rumors are like, oh, this has never been done before. Oh, they're waiting to put the rate change in there. Oh, there's always this BS in there. You guys, that's not the case. I want you to think about something. The former government for Iraq resigned at the end of 2019. Remember that? We had to wait through one prime minister who was nominated, got declined. A second prime minister who was nominated, got declined. Then we got to Al-Kadhimi. By the time Al-Kadhimi got into office, it was already at the end of May. 5 months into this year. Of course, there's no 2020 budget. Not to mention the Rona had gotten there. Now, not only that, we had to wait for Al-Kadhimi to name his cabinet. They didn't get voted in, I believe, until July. We're barely at the beginning of September. So when did they have time to put a budget together? Do you see what I'm saying? So no, it wasn't because they were just hiding it from people because there's a rate change in there. Oh, good Lord. Some people are drama mamas, man. There's no hiding the budget. Between the coronavirus and us waiting for them to put in a damn prime minister, by the time for him to get in his cabinet, man, we were already more than halfway through the year. We know right now the 2020 and 2021 budget are going to be submitted. I told you why they were saying they need to do the 2021 budget. because in there is all the things they have to take in consideration when it comes to the employees. You have some employees are going to retire, some new ones are going to be added. They're talking about promotions that are going to be given as well as raises. Okay, and they put that all in the 2020 budget along with some other expenses that need to be monitored, and then they integrate it into the 2021 budget is what the person was saying in the article. All right, so this here is talking about this. They're going to have both budgets are going to be submitted at the same time. Very, very interesting. So it says on here, the meeting discussed the draft of the state budget law for the year 2020, as it is one of the most important objectives of the ministerial curriculum of the government, in a manner that ensures the citizens' interests and level of living are taken into account. Okay, so the joint meeting also dealt with following up the latest steps to prepare the economic reform papers. Yep, that's the one that's supposed to have the rate change in it. Or let me put it to you this way. We saw the news article yesterday. It was implied that a rate change must be considered in these paperwork, all right? That's why I tell you guys, whenever we get good news on any of your investments, don't get overly excited. It's all right if you want to do a little pee-pee dance and stuff, that's cool. But don't start hawking your houses and stuff and then dumping it all into the Iraqi Dinar. That doesn't mean anything other than it's being considered. Okay, so slow down a little bit. Like I said, when we're investing, don't get overly excited when it's good news and don't get overly down when it looks like negative news. Okay? There's reasons to be excited. Plenty of reasons, but I don't want people to get overly confident and start really doing unnecessary things. In the past, we've heard stories where people were mortgaging their houses and lost their houses because they were given a date and a rate. You know what I mean? So that's important for us to stay grounded. It's a low risk, high reward situation. Okay? But there's no guarantees on any investment that anybody ever invests in. Not just this one, but any of them. All right? So just slow down a little. I understand. I get where you're coming from, but I don't want to see people taking out HELOCs on their homes, second mortgages. Don't do that kind of stuff. You guys just be happy about what we're hearing. But you got to really monitor what's going on. The government has a month to send a budget for the 2021 year. And despite the lack of time to read and approve the two budgets, the current or next year, the members of the Finance Committee confirmed representative said that the Parliament is ready to discuss and approve the budget for the current year 2020, stressing that the year's budget will see the light if it is sent to the Council of Ministers. And it will be legislated because it is very brief. And on the 2021 budget will be as for the investment. It will be a dead letter, because the government does not have sufficient funds for it. In other words, it's going to be dead in the water. So they're going to approve the 2021 or 2020 budget, but it doesn't look like they're going to approve the 2021 budget. But I like what they're saying here, because the government does not have sufficient funds for it. We want them reform papers to reflect a stronger purchasing power for the dinar. So increase its rate is what we're hoping for. So the Ministry of Planning announced the job grades of 240,000 degrees will be transferred from the 2020 budget to the 2021 budget according to the mechanisms of deletions, creations, and retirements. See, I was telling you, that's what a 2020 budget needs to be done. So you have to take in consideration all the salaries that were put in 2020 and integrate them over to the 2021 budget. All right, so all these things have to be taken in consideration. The 2020 budget is going to go really quick. There's not a whole lot to discuss. They know what they need to do. They need to make, whatever implementations into the 2020 budget needed to go into the 2021 budget or integrated into the 2021 budget is the purpose of this rush for 2020. But I do like when they're saying right there, hey, we don't have enough money for the 2021 budget. I think they need to increase their purchasing power. Another thing I want you guys to stop doing, and I want you to be careful with this, because this is how people get disappointed or get misled or misunderstand what's going on. Nobody out there, I don't care what anybody's telling you, nobody knows what the rate's going to be. Nobody. I've had people approaching me about some of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard. $4, $5, $10 for the rate exchange. Nobody knows. If anybody's telling you what the rate is, they're lying. Absolutely lying. There are reasons to speculate about a particular rate. Okay. I've used past articles. I've used past CBI meetings, readings. I've used past discussions between the government about the rates that they have discussed to try to get an idea. But nobody knows the rate. Okay, so you guys just slow down a little bit. I understand it's exciting. It is very exciting. We have not seen any kind of real discussion on anything to do with the dinar in quite some time. But the fact that they came out and said, look, man, one of the things that have to be taken into consideration is we have to do something about this rate so we could be competitive on an international scale. For the record, Pimpy said that months ago. All right. Let's get into the news. A new missile attack on Baghdad's international airport. So what they're finding out is, look, these are these Iranian-backed militia groups or gangs that are doing this. They need to put a stop on this because there's a lot of things that Al-Qademi is doing. He is draining the swamp, and he is legitimately doing it at neck-breaking speed. All right, he's trying to remove the corruptions. He's removing those corrupt people in senior positions. I mean, he's done a lot. The fact that the news article yesterday said something very, very nice, which was, Al-Qademi is no longer influenced by a political party. He's a standalone man. He is there for the people. So I'm going to keep my faith in first God, Jesus, and then our boy Al-Qademi to do his job over there in Iraq. But these missile attacks are just another form of this resistance to what Al-Qademi is accomplishing, all right? Okay, so the Iraq parliament had ends its first reading of 5 bills. There's a lot of different bills that are going on. Nothing that I think you guys would be interested in, so I'll get past that. But let's get to this. The Kurdish delegation concluded its negotiations in Baghdad without announcing the results. So again, we already know all the things that they're talking about, what needs to get accomplished, all right? But where they're sticking at is the dues and revenues. So you got the border crossing, okay, they need to talk about. You have the ports that they're talking about, and some of the other areas where money is being generated for the government. Kurdistan is like, look, we got to make sure that that gets distributed equally and that the salaries are paid other Kurdistan people. Same thing as before. So, but here's the thing: there are several articles about this meeting, which to me sounds like things are starting to step up and intensify a little bit. Well, there's reason for that. The budgets can't be passed without this agreement. The revenues and dues are in this agreement. That's part of the budget. So if the 2020 budget and 2021 budget have to be there by the end of this month, along with the reform papers, they need to hurry up and get this agreement hammered out. So look at here, the parliament, the government's economic reform papers will be presented at the end of September. So those reform papers will be there by the end of this month. So what does that mean? That means we really just gotta relax, take a deep breath, and realize that we're already on the 10th day of this month. 10th day. What are we, about 3 weeks away from the end of the month? We will know a whole lot more by the end of the month. Don't get me wrong, we might hear additional news between then, but we're really anticipating some very, very interesting news by the end of this month. I do find it also interesting that there's a lot of things happening with government in a rush to get things accomplished in the month of September. Also see a lot of movement in currencies all happening, and they seem to be rushing for the month of September. Also see a lot of people rushing to make huge moves on precious metals and trying to do the now deliveries all within the month of September. Very, very, very interesting. Don't forget, the IMF meeting is in October. I have a feeling this will be the announcement that Trump makes about the return of the gold standard. So we will keep an eye on that. But see, all these other countries must get in line and be prepared. If this happens, they have to have their ducks in a row. currencies need to be taken care of, how currencies are lining up with their gold reserves. You know what I mean? All that has to be taken in consideration. So people always go, hey, Pimpy, how are they going to be able to afford a rate change? Well, if we do go to the gold standard and the gold value is set at a really high level, that would definitely give a lot of value to the Iraqi dinar, not to mention all the other things that are positively happening at the time. So just hang tight. So again, I think we're waiting. We're seeing a lot of meetings going on between Erbil and Baghdad. All right. Also, Iraq has proposed to hold an OPEC meeting in Baghdad in December. So something interesting was brought to my attention yesterday by my buddy, saying, you ever notice that for the past 10 years, OPEC has been pumping out a ton of oil, but the reserves never change? There's reason to believe that Saudi Arabia might be running out of oil. That's a possibility. Venezuela is the #1 oil producer in the world. I have a feeling Iraq is going to pass them up, and they will be the world's #1 oil producer in the world. So when the exchange rate happens, you might want to consider getting into the ISX and investing into their oil companies. I'm anticipating over the next 10, 15 years of Iraq becoming the world's dominant oil producer. There's plenty of reasons to believe that. So we will keep an eye on what's going on over there. All right, Al-Qademi orders the removal of the sectarian reference to military forms. In other words, people trying to let others know what group they affiliated with, they want that removed because you could be discriminated against because of that. All right, so I like this move again. Al-Qademi doing what's necessary for the people. So that's it, you guys. I just want people to kind of slow down. We know the talks are still going on between Erbil as well as Baghdad. That's going to be ironed out here real soon. We know that we are expecting the reform papers to be submitted at the end of September. We know that the 2020 and 2021 budget will be submitted at the same time, but it looks like until we find out what's going on with the funds, the 2021 budget is going to be dead in the water until we see talks of a possible rate change. All right, you guys, so take a deep breath. Be happy about your day. Be happy about what's going on. But again, slow down. We don't know what the rate's going to be. All right? I understand it's exciting. I get it. Trust me, I'm excited too. But I learned over, in my lifetime when it comes to investments, you can't get overly excited with the good news and you can't get overly down when it's bad news. You know when you can get overly excited? Is when that money is yours and sitting in your account, which I hope you're smart enough not to leave in a bank account and invest it into precious metals. All right, you guys, that's it for now. I just wanted to share the news and tell you guys I get it. There's a lot of chitter-chatter yesterday and everybody playing speculation on the rate. Who cares? Just be happy with whatever you got. Get me? All right, you guys, hit the thumbs up button because you love this kind of news, right? And don't forget, if you're not a subscriber, please do so because when you do, it helps out the channel. And I surely do appreciate it. And I'll catch you later.